welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I continue the Prophecy series with a thriller from 2000. That movie is The Prophecy 3, The Ascent. I don't know a lot about this movie, guys. The only thing I can tell you is that the first Prophecy movie was still really cool. It was really strong. Second one was starting to kind of sort of taper off a little bit. It wasn't nearly as good. And I dread to think how far off the third one will slip. I honestly do not know what the plot is. I have no earthly clue. I can kind of assume it's going to continue the story of Christopher Walken being just awesome for 90 minutes and having some biblical bullshit kind of like peppered in there, because that kind of seemed to be because that honestly kind of seems to be like the guarantee with all of these is that we're gonna have Christopher Walken being awesome, and we're gonna have a bunch of biblical crap kind of peppered in. At least this is gonna be the last one that promises that, because I know that the fourth and fifth films in this series have nothing to do with everything we have seen thus far and what we're gonna be seeing tonight. But I don't care about the fourth and fifth films right now. Right now, all I care about is whether or not the Prophecy 3 is going to be any good. And the only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out The Prophecy 3, The Ascent. Well, guys, I am going to say right now that so far the movie is a little bit dull. I'm definitely hoping for it to pick up, but that right now is about the only thing I am really hoping for is for this movie to pick up a little bit, because yeah, the first like 19 minutes or so have been really, really boring. Okay, I honestly don't mean to be a stickler for, like, details here, but we just found a Braille copy of the Bible. I'm sorry, I really kind of thought that a Braille copy of the Bible would be bigger than, a usual print Bible, just because, well, there's so much extra that goes into Braille. I understand it's a minor thing, but god damn it, guys, this movie isn't giving me anything else to work with. Thus, I have to complain about the fact that they have a Braille Bible that looks to be only about 300 pages long, alright? I'm sorry, guys, it's really the best I have to work with right now. Guys, I swear, I really am not asking for much at this point. I just want this movie to give me some reason to want to continue watching it. It honestly is not that the movie's bad. It really isn't, guys. It's boring as fuck. And I would like it if, for the last half hour of this thing, we get, I don't know, something interesting, something cool, something decent. Just something. Jesus, fuck, this movie is not done yet. No, guys, honestly, I guys have been so bored by this fucking thing for about the last hour or so that I just want it to end. Because I fucking know that we are not going to get anything interesting in the last 10 minutes. I can feel it. I know it. I'm watching this thing right now, and I'm going to tell you, for the next, like 12 minutes, 10 minutes, this thing is not going to get better. I'm still going to be bored, and when all's said and done, I'm still going to have to fucking talk about it. But hey, good news is, at least it's almost done. Well, guys, that was The Prophecy 3, The Ascent. Let me shut that off. My god, that was dull. Alright, I'm going to start with writing. Why not? There is a big issue with this movie. It was also a slight issue in the second film, but it's even worse here, and it is that, normally, guys, with movies, you want to very clearly define who is your protagonist and who is your antagonist, right? That right there is normally the thing. Is you want the movie to come right out and kind of tell you which character is your good guy and which character is your bad guy. And it's totally fine if you are going to swerve that, like, halfway, maybe, I don't know, like, halfway through or something. But we don't even get that with these films. In both The Prophecy 2 and the Prophecy 3, Every character, the characters who technically are the heroes and the characters who are technically the villains, are all equally dickish and evil. Which, okay, yeah, that honestly lends to a whole lot of, like, realism, because, guys, real life is not really a case of black and white. However, though, we are talking about a series of films which is bringing in fictional bullshit like angels, Nephilim, and what happened in the Bible. So the very fact that this thing is very deeply rooted in fiction, and I am not going to argue it with people who believe otherwise. All right, the very fact that we are rooted in very poorly written fiction in the first place with all the angels and Bible crap. You don't work realism into that, especially since the Bible itself was very, very, black and white as to who's good and who's evil. Jesus good, Romans bad. Noah good, everyone else bad. It's the Bible was very black and white. And when you're going to work with something which tries to tie very closely into that, and everybody is the exact same shade of fucking gray, it doesn't work. And even, guys, when you are working with shades, with fucking shades of gray, it has to be varying shades. You have to have lighter, shades of gray to show us at least that someone has at least some level of good. But no, we barely even get, that. Everybody's the same off shade of gray that is neither bright nor dark, so you have nobody to really, root for. You really don't even know if what happened when all is said and done is a good thing or not. We are told very early on that essentially Nephilim on Earth are seen as a very bad thing. That also was a huge plot point in the second film, and Gabriel was being played up as kind of a villain because he wanted to stop the bad thing from fucking happening. So now it's here, and the fucking Nephilim's here, so even though we are told early on in this film that is a bad thing, and it is going to lead to God's wrath and another war and floods and this and that, yada yada, do we cheer for him then? Because his very presence here is going to fuck over the rest of the world. And then as for this other angel who shows up, who's trying to take his heart, do we cheer for him because he wants to stop the floods and everything else from happening? Well, no, because his final goal is to lead to mass fucking genocide or some such shit. And then we have Gabriel. Gabriel, who has been in the first two films, he's here just for the sake of being here, and really they really could have fucking cut everything he does out of the film, and it probably wouldn't have changed a goddamned thing. It really was a totally wasted fucking story. The writing here is just simply bad on the fucking level that the writers have no idea who honestly is truly good and who here is truly evil. So everybody is played up in fucking like the exact same shade of gray. At which point there is no fucking reason to care about anybody because you aren't given a reason to care about anybody on any certain level. I want you guys to just imagine. I'm just gonna throw this out there for you. I want you to imagine watching Star Wars, except instead of very clearly defining that the fucking rebels are good and that the Empire is evil, they are both played up in the exact same way, and that they are both equally good and equally evil. And by the time that the Empire's gigantic space station, which by the way could not be called a Death Star if you're trying to play them up as both equal, when that thing finally fucking explodes, you have no idea if you should be happy about that or sad about that, because they didn't tell you which side is good and which side's evil. That's why you need this. That is why you need that very, very straight line motherfucking duality in these films. But yes, guys, that really is the one thing which killed it. Well, also the fact that the story just it just goes and goes and it goes nowhere. The story is boring as balls no matter what point you fucking jump into. It's dull, it's tedious, it's tiresome. It, guys, was a chore to get through this movie. Okay? When compared to the first two Prophecy films, this thing was a fucking disaster. It sucks. Alright? Now, that, guys, is just me talking about the writing. The writing in this thing was awful. But the acting was actually halfway decent. The acting here was really solid. And similar to the first two films, Walken just comes in and kills everybody. Even though Walken's character serves no purpose, he still outshines everybody else in this goddamn movie. Also, the very fact that he's not really in it for very long, and he's still able to outshine the entire goddamn cast, says a lot. So yeah, guys, now where I said that you could go watch the Prophecy 2 if just solely because it's Walken being awesome for 90 minutes. Here, guys, it basically is just Christopher Walken just standing there going, okay, so what now? And then that's it. He serves no purpose, but he still turns in the best showing here, and even that is not enough for me to tell you guys to watch this movie. It's terrible. It is not that good. The acting, though, is still halfway decent from you know, everybody else, and nobody here actually, like, phones it in or anything. It's just that even though everyone turns in a halfway decent showing, you still really can't, you know, expect much when the writing is so bad. When the writing is so bland and samey and dull and tedious, you really cannot ask the actors to turn in a stellar showing. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, special effects. I know that I complained in when I covered the Prophecy 2 about them hiding Angel's wings in shadow, and that you never actually get to see the wings sprout out and all this other fun stuff. They actually do show you they actually do show you one angel's wings come popping out, and it's right towards the very end, and the effect is awful. So I guess I really should be happy that we didn't have to see that terrible, god-awful mess in the Prophecy 2. But still, it wasn't that good, and ultimately, guys, the special effects here, there really are not much. We do have a whole lot of, like, squib work and blood work, but that's it. And plus, even then, all of it is just kind of sort of passable. I mean, you know, like, none of it here is great. None of it here is going to win any kind of awards, but it's still at least okay. I mean, it's not, it really isn't great, but it also isn't terrible, and that's kind of the best I can say when it comes to special effects. The score, I just finished watching the movie, guys. I don't remember what the fuck the score sounded like, but then again, that's because I was bored to tears by the horrific writing. So I can't really comment on music. Camera work here is okay, lighting here is okay. Ultimately, guys, am I able to recommend the Prophecy 3? No, I really cannot. So that means that so far, would this fucking 5-pack be worth picking up? No. I can tell you right now, no. It would probably be you'd probably be better off just buying the first 2 on Blu-ray, because I have a horrible feeling about the 4th and 5th ones. Of course, yes, I am going to cover those later on this month, but so far, this thing is not exactly worth the purchase price. I would not recommend watching the Prophecy 3. I was barely able to recommend the Prophecy 2. So that means that so far the only one that is really good is the first one, and we have sort of run into a problem with sequels, where each sequel things get steadily worse. And I do understand, guys, that there are a couple of franchises out there, stuff like Puppet Master and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, where the better films are like parts 3, 4, and 5. In fact, that's true with both Nightmare on Elm Street and Puppet Master, actually. However, though, here, guys, it's just going downhill, and it's going downhill fast. And since the 4th and 5th movies have nothing to do with what we've seen in the first 3 movies, and Christopher Walken's presence is nowhere, I'm dreading Prophecies 4 and 5. But I am not going to worry about those until I cover the 4th one next week. So, yeah. Wow, this thing was awful. I'm probably going to need to go watch something good. I don't know what. You know what? I just fucking talked about a Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm going to go watch that. Why not? So yes, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.